Hello, I'm Nicky Kriel, and this morning I'm delighted to have Tom Evans with me. Now, I've known Tom for rather a long time, or a few years now, and I just wanted to share a little story about one of the first few times we had a meeting together. Tom asked me to review his book called Blocks, and I thought, okay, I'll review the book. And I, at that stage, had no desire to be a writer, or didn't feel, everybody says you've got a book in you, and I never felt that way. And I started reading his book, and what it did was it actually unleashed the writer in me, so I spent the next few weeks just scribbling away. I was like a maniac. Whenever I had a spare moment, like if I was waiting in the car, out came a pencil, scribbling on any single piece of paper I could find. So it had an amazing effect on me, and because of that unleashing of, I suppose, my writing, being able to write, it's meant that, I suppose, it's made my blogging easier. So I've got a very soft spot for you, Tom.
So, thank you.
So I'd like to introduce you to people. I'm assuming some people who watch this will already know you and be very familiar with you, but I'm introducing you to some other people. And the reason for our interview this morning is really because we were chatting on the phone about how to use Twitter in a creative way, and you've got some brilliant ideas. So over to you, Tom.
Well, yeah, I love Twitter because it's short and sweet, and when I'm helping people write their books, one of the things I do is I say, books don't have to be a big book. They don't have to be lots and lots of words to have a powerful message. And some books that go on and on and on are difficult to read, and especially nowadays when people are kind of overloaded with information, we've got to be really judicious and careful with our words and make sure that they have the right impact. So Twitter to me is great because you've only got this 140 characters, and as you know, you only really want to use 100 of them up so people can retweet you, and you can add links and all that sort of stuff. So being inventive about what you do with the 100 characters to me is great. And kind of what's interesting is, I think, when did I must have been Twitter, 2009, maybe 2008. I got my first account, but I wrote my first book back in 2006, 100 Years of Ermintrude, which is just a poetic life story. This lady lives from 0 to 100, that's what it says on the tin. And what I did, I went back to this book, looked at it, and I counted up the characters in each of the stanzas. There's 4 life stanzas for each year of her life, and they were all less than 140 characters. So as an example of the sort of thing you can do on Twitter, I did this. I actually tweeted the story, one tweet at a time, over 33 days. And of course that did great things to my following, and people said, "Oh, what happens next?" And you build up this sort of this pent up demand. And I think that sort of use of Twitter is fantastic compared with, I'm just having a cup of tea, or I've just arrived at some 4-square location, which all that does is tell the whole world that you're not at your house and the burglars can come round.
It's very true, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you also had some ideas in terms of, okay, that's breaking your book by sort of like by stanza, which is brilliant to be able to do that. I mean, you could, if you were an author, you could summarize a chapter in a tweet, couldn't you?
You can, but what's happened with Twitter is it's built up a fantastic subculture of other developers. It's got the thing called an open API, which is an application programming interface. So other people can write stuff that plugs into Twitter and extends it. I mean, TweetDeck is a great example of that, or Hootsuite, one of the Twitter clients. But there's people like Twimagination, and on that you can write whole chapters and link your Twitter account to it, and then send that off to Twitter. And then when people click on the link, they see the whole chapter. So it extends the number of characters you can play with. So again, I did the same thing with 100 Years of Ermintrude, and I've written a short story called Soul Wave, and I tweeted that a chapter at a time. And it's a great way for authors to test their material, because people were saying, well, that's the short story, Tom, when are you going to write the whole novel, And it's a great way you can cheaply test your material on people, make sure there's an appetite for it, hone your writing skills. And that's just text.
Yeah.
You can also do audio. So I got an account with this fantastic service called Audioboo, and the audio track again becomes part of the Twitter stream. And if you look at my Twitter stream, you'll see it's got a mixture of text only, text with audio, text with video as well.
Yeah.
Because you can do TwitPic and that sort of stuff. And so Twitter isn't just about text, although as a writer, my passion is the text, if you know what I mean. But as a techie, I also append all these other assets to it. So, if you do a search on Twitter and the internet, you'll find 100 Years of Moment Truth as a video, as an audio, as to imagination, as stanza by stanza. And I just like to use these technologies to show people how you can multi-purpose your output, if you like.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about Audioboo in case people haven't heard of it?
Yeah, Audioboo is like YouTube for audio only, right?
Yeah.
And what's great about it, it comes with a free iPhone app. So we're actually sitting in two different rooms right now because of the snow. But if we were together, we would, I'd probably just use this phone, record our interview, press a button, ends up on the Audioboo servers, and they've got a lovely little embed system. So you can embed your boos, your audio tracks, in your Facebook stream or in your Twitter stream, which is just great. And also you can take them and put them in your blog. Like when you get your YouTube videos?
Yeah.
You got the play button. You can do the same thing with audio track, which is just great. And as a writer, again, I feel that people want to listen. Having the idea of having a book which is in audio version as well as in text version, to me is not an option nowadays. I think it's an essential.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right, because people experience things differently, don't they?
Yeah, some people like to listen. Some people like to read. Some people like to watch. And that's what's great. The other thing you can do with this, I know we're not talking about iPhone apps today, but with iPhones you can do the same thing where you can give a multimedia experience, and the iBook Store have just opened up their platform to do exactly that with textbooks, which is great.
And you use YouTube videos. When you said you had a video version of Ermitude, how did you do that then?
That was me being interviewed by a lovely guy called Neil Fairbrother. So, author interview, which was, why did you write a book? What was your inspiration? All that sort of stuff. And then we did, do you remember that program, Jackanory, children's program, where someone sits in a chair and reads the story out? This lovely lady called Debbie Tarrier read Ermitude as the story, almost like as a bedtime story, which is just lovely.
I've seen a very funny children's book, which is going to swear word. It's being read by some famous people on YouTube, it does actually make it quite nice to have a story read to you.
Exactly, yeah. And this story is 33 stanzas, each 33 seconds long. 33 times 33 equals about 18 minutes, so it's just a perfect afternoon tea break. And one of the things that we don't do, especially in this social media world, is that it seems to be on the time, and we don't sort of sit back from it and chillax and relax. So I'm thinking that if we can put things on, little gems up there that help people, because I put a lot of my meditations up there, so start the day with a 10-minute meditation. And if we make these part of our day, then this sort of onslaught of social media, it becomes a kind of blessing as well as a curse, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. I think you've certainly given people a lot of things to think about, because if people have just been tweeting, I'm eating a cheese sandwich, I've never ever seen anybody actually say that. I'm desperate to see somebody say they're eating a chease sandwich.
But if they were, we could be inventive and say, retweet, please add pickle, couldn't we?
That'd be really funny. But it's great to just give some people some ideas of how to get a little bit more creative with Twitter.
Yeah, and just one last thing. There's a brilliant book written by number 9, the ninth subscriber to Twitter, called Dom Segola, called 140 Characters, a Short Form. And there's some really inventive examples of how you can be very linguistic and creative with those short number of characters. And it's available as a print book and as an iPhone app. Brilliant book. Gives you a bit of the history of Twitter as well, but also really intelligent treatise about our language and linguistics and the power of Twitter as a sort of collective unconsciousness or consciousness.
I read that book because you recommended it, and it's brilliant for anybody who likes playing with words.
Exactly, yeah.
So thank you very much, Tom, for that, and
Pleasure.
I hope you've sparked some ideas with some people today.
Absolutely, and on that very note, just one last, I've just formed a new website called Timesis.co, which is all about the fun of words. And if you want to know what a Timesis is, go to TMESIS.co, and there's some competitions there, and it's my linguistic playground.
Good. I'll put all the links for all your websites and for people to find you, so that everybody can get hold of you, Tom. Thank you very much for your time.
Great to talk to you, Nikki.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.